Late Night Health continues. I'm Mark Alyn. We're talking about trauma. We're talking about trauma of evil. The resilience, one family story of hope and triumph over evil with Dr. Judy Stone. Judy, are there parallels between the evil of, I think it's 75 years now, of the Holocaust to today? And that's to Jews, to any other group of people.
Absolutely. And that's one of the values that my family passed on to us, is to try to avoid the kind of divisiveness we're seeing today, to avoid the othering, and to recognize that we all have the same wants and needs for food, for shelter, for family, for love. And so as part of that, they emphasized not being a bystander and standing up to injustice. So I've been tilting at windmills for all of my, pretty much since I was a teenager, focusing on kindness towards other people, helping other people who are less fortunate than us. And there's so many small ways that one can do that. But yes, there's so many parallels to what's going on now. The three notable ones are we have widespread us versus them thinking, and so did Germany in the 30s,
right,
as you know, when they persecuted the Jews. But then they added people with disabilities and homosexuals and anybody who wasn't blonde hair and blue-eyed. Two, we have this increasingly severe anti-immigrant restrictions and citizenship requirements. And so did Germany back then, when they stripped the Jews, gypsies, and blacks of their citizenship. And three,
and gays, and the gays, and gays.
And gays.
Yeah.
And three, our government views the press as the enemy of the people and fake news. And the German government did the same thing, calling them Lügenpresse or lying press. But the thing that's scariest to me is that the Nazis started slowly. They didn't just, the first day, round up the Jews and murder them. This was step by step by step, and it's very similar, frighteningly similar, to what's been happening in the last several years. And that's part of why Kitty keeps speaking out at age 95, is to bring home that message of standing up to injustice.
Because this is late night health, because we do talk about health, the trauma that your parents obviously felt and the trauma that you feel today, is there any way to get around that? I mean, the therapy bills must be outrageous.
Walking in nature is my therapy, my best therapy. Doing kindnesses for other people, focusing on helping other people, all helps build your own strength and resilience. But seriously, one of the things I focus on when things get rough is what's known as mindfulness meditation.
Okay.
And just coming back to the here and now and focusing on what's happening right this instant.
Let's talk about something happy from your childhood, okay?
Sure.
Let's talk about, what about the food? I mean, in Europe, in Hungary, your parents were starving. But when they came here, were dinners great?
Oh, my mother was a good cook. All of the sisters were good. Not particularly healthy food, very rich, heavy, full of paprika and onions. But where my family stood out is the sisters were all superb bakers.
Oh boy!
Have you ever had Doppelstort, the 7-layer chocolate cake?
Yes. We had a friend of the family who was from Hungary, and she made Rita. We called her Aunt Rita, and I remember her paprikash, and of course it was chicken with I think there's sour cream in that, if I'm remembering correctly, and of course the paprika and the onions. Oh my!
And the cherry soup and the cholent, the baked beans that was the traditional Jewish food for the Sabbath.
Right. I'm not a fan of and I'm not a fan of cholent. I do get it. Just the first time I had it, I was 4 years old, and my father, bless his soul, said to me when I said, "Who burnt the meat?" When we were having the cholent, and those were in the days before crock pot, so this big pot sat on the stove of some relative's house. It was the only time I'd had it till I was an adult, and I still don't like it. But Judy, will you come back sometime? Maybe we'll talk about infectious diseases and what we can do about that.
Well, I would love to, because infections also were going back to the pre-antibiotic era, and that really shaped my family too.
Got it.
So thank you very much for having me on.
My pleasure. I hope you had a good time.
I did.
Good.
Very easy to talk to.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. All right, the book is called Resilience: One Family's Story of Hope and Triumph Over Evil. Go to latenighthealth.com. We'll have Judy's picture and a link to her website, as well as go to Amazon and buy the book. It's an important book. It really is. All right, coming up next on Late Night Health, Dr. Michael Stone. Mike Stone is coming back from Life Extension. We're going to talk about the keto diet and what it is and how it can work for you, or maybe it won't work for you. We'll find out more as Late Night Health continues.